All right, what's up, gang? It's another week. Riverman and myself are here to talk about all things nostalgia. We have a topic as usual. We'll sort of shoot the breeze, talk about what's new, just kind of discuss anything that we want to, what's on our mind, any new acquisitions. Maybe we've watched something new. Our nostalgia topic this week is going to be Salute Your Shorts, following in suit with last week where we tackled Are You Afraid of the Dark? But before we get into all that, let's just sort of take it easy. Let's ease it all in. Let's lube each other up.
Just easing the tension, baby.
Easing in the tip. So as we were getting going here, Todd was trying to tell me about some deals right now. For anybody out there that likes physical media and 4Ks, that is what me and Todd like still. Speaking of which, I watched my last Action Hero 4K just a couple nights ago. You know, that was good.
I also acquired that, and I am looking forward to watching it. I mean, the Steelbook looks great too. I mean, it's pretty.
Todd's all upset that he's got pock marks in the back of it.
Oh, terrible, man! I got quite a few.
Yeah. It's the same kind of crater damage on his ass too, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh. How does that even happen? Like, how do all those happen? They drop.
I don't know, because the front is perfect, but like the J card was covering it, and I don't know how it went through the card and got dinged up. But
mine's perfect. But like I said, I know. I said,
next time I see you, I'm gonna come switch it out with
and I don't notice it until next time I watch this in 5 years.
Like,
and I pull it out. What's this? And it's like the Twix. No, that's like some shit I would do to like a brick and mortar store.
No, and I take a Polaroid and I put it in there, so when you open it up, it says
No, well, like I said, I would be able to live with that, just because I'm telling you, my Shining Steelbook, it's a constant reminder. I can see it damaged on the shelf.
Do you have
damaged.
that?
You want to see it?
Yeah,
Have you not seen it?
I don't know if I've seen it.
All right, say hi to Will. He's in the chat. I'm gonna go grab that.
Will, what's going on, man? Yeah, ouch. I know. I'm not too crazy when it comes to a lot of this little dings and damage, but some things drive me crazy. So, but yeah, there's looks like there's some decent deals on Amazon right now. You can get Heat on 4K for $8. I mean, that is a great deal.
I have a name for my pain, and it is Batman.
You can get Heat for $8 right now on Amazon.
What else 4K. You got? I mean, I think I got
Northman's 12, but I think I gave you the Northman, didn't I? The code.
Yeah, you gave me the code for that. But I got. I don't remember what I paid for Heat. It wasn't $8. It might have been like 10. But you want to check this shit out, guys?
Yeah, let's see it.
And you have to believe me. This is one of those cases where I think the Steelbooks were sold out by the time they really went on sale. Yeah, the Best Buy Steelbooks. So I couldn't have gotten a swap out regardless. But it's one of these cases where I had recently watched the movie, so I wasn't like jumping on watching my copy on 4K. And by the time I had opened it and discovered this, it was outside of the return window, and you couldn't find the Steelbooks anymore.
Yeah,
so
they went quick.
And the card covered this up as well. Believe me when you couldn't see it. Okay, looks okay on the front, right? We look okay.
It's beautiful.
Doing all right. Keep on cruising. Keep on cruising.
Oh, God. It's like bent in half, dude.
It's look at that. Look, the card was covering up. It's caved in.
It looks like somebody stepped on it and started pulling it up.
Yeah, the entire back is caved in. Right, even on that side, you see it's caved in. It's this entire part is just bent up, and so even when this shit sits on my shelf, it's a constant reminder. Right, I could see it.
Do you ever think about putting like a cinder block on it for like a month and see if it flattens?
How would that help? It would just crush the other side.
Well, you put cardboard in between it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I don't see how that's going to help what's going on here.
I know. Like, I don't know. I think
it's absolutely, this whole from here down is just caved in. And so I thought about like, maybe there's a way to like pop it out. I don't know. But it's pretty.
Take it to like a mechanic. Don't they have those suction cups where you can pull?
Oh, I'm going to take it to my nearest body shop and be like, what can you do? I'm going to call Safe Flight Auto, those guys that come to your house, right? And that fix your windshield. and they'll pop dents. Like
Yeah,
they'll come to
yeah.
your house. I'm gonna call them, be like, okay, I'm glad you made it here so fast. He's like, where's the car? I don't have a car, but don't get mad. Please pop this out. Like they have these little poppers. And
Oh,
but you
that'd
can
be
see it
great.
if you look at it from an angle. I could see where the impact was. Like there's an actual ding where it's not just. Oh, let's see if you can catch it on the camera. I don't know if it'll capture it.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really tell.
Yeah, it's really hard to see, but let's see.
Oh
fuck. Yeah, I can't really like. There's a sharp ding back here. We see all the glare. It's like a sharp ding, and so even if I popped it out, it would be a little fucked. But I'd be happy if I could just get the spine looking okay. Because it looks, it's right where that spine is crushed, man. It looks like it got gripped by a claw and crushed or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, that really hurt me. And
now it takes up like 2 DVDs or 2 spaces in your collection.
Yeah, it fucking sucks, man. But Will here, he's yet to jump on the 4K train. Looks like someone took a hammer and gave it a nice good smackaroo. I know it sucks, man. Like I feel like Day. I feel like Ice Cube and Day. Yeah, it makes you not even want to drive it. Right? You got his car scratched, dude. Yeah, it makes you not even want to drive it. But yeah, it makes you not even want to watch it. And it kind of makes you want to get just a standard copy so I can put this one out of my life. I don't want to stare at this.
Well, I have the standard copy.
Fucking stupid.
Now, and anyway, I have a slip for it. So if you don't get a slip, maybe we can trade.
You would take this over you would still take this?
Yes.
I wonder. I bet you there's somebody that could repair it. I have to do some research. I don't want to like break it, but I wonder. I got to be able. I could pop this insert out, right? There's got to be a way to pop the insert out.
Yeah.
And if I can do that without busting it, like I don't know if I don't know what's keeping it in there. I don't want to like wreck it worse. But if I could just pop this out and pop it back in, I wouldn't be afraid to go to town on it. I just would have to pop this out, and so I could like work it from the inside and see what I could do. But who knows? The fact that I'm even thinking about this is kind of sad. Like most people just write that off.
Why don't you? Do they sell it on like Amazon for like a ton of money? Is there any like other sellers that you can just buy it and just be like, hey, look, it came dinged?
Anybody selling it for those ridiculous prices? I mean, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not even gonna really attempt it, but who knows, man? Maybe I'll get lucky and there will be another Last Action Hero situation because that steelbook was out of print and then they put them back out. So who knows? But I haven't seen Shining since. But I'm gonna keep an eye. If you happen to see those for sale again, like at Best, because that was a Best Buy exclusive. If you happen to see that, let me know, and I will do the old fucking switcheroo and will not feel bad about it. Like, look at this shit.
I haven't been in Best Buy in probably months.
No, I'm done. I'm done being a customer.
They raise their prices. Yeah.
Well, it all started with them getting rid of the Gamers Club Unlocked. Because that's what kept me a customer. Because I was buying anything game related from them. They got rid of that, and then unless you have the credit card, which I do, they gimped their points system, which is another thing that kept me going there. Now it's just shit. I do have the credit card, but even then, like they have nothing. They're raising their prices on fucking everything. It's just stupid. So I haven't really shopped at Best Buy. I had some points to redeem, so technically I made my first purchase from Best Buy in a long time. A few days ago, I pre-ordered Resident Evil 4 from them, just because I had like $25 in points I needed to burn. So I went ahead and did that, and at least with Best Buy, you do get exclusives with Best Buy, like you get like a steel book and all kinds of stuff. But other than that, there's no reason to go with them. But any other deals I should be aware of besides Heat, which I own?
I'm just gonna get this now. Ex Machina is $9. I mean, that's always cheap, but
that's always $9. But that's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, for a 4K, that's pretty. Nope is 15. I don't know if I'm gonna.
I tried watching that. I think it's on Paramount or
I heard it was good,
but it's on one of those services. Okay. And I tried watching it, and the file they have is fucked up.
Oh,
like when you try, at least when I tried watching, and it wasn't just like the app or anything for me at the time. Other people verified it as well, but it like it flashes. The file flashes, and it's fucking annoying. It's like every 2 seconds the screen blinks, and I couldn't do it. So I'll come back to it. Do you have a light over there, or is that all the light you got? It used to be brighter. Do you not have a desk light?
I don't have another light right now. I mean, I have a light going in my face right now, but I don't have anything behind me.
It's fine. Anyway, so let's talk about stuff that we got that's new. Have you picked up anything recently?
Yeah, I think I got something a week ago when stuff was on sale.
Yeah, well, let us in on it, man.
So I already covered the Last Action Hero Steelbook. I got that.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I was never a massive fan of. You know, it was always just kind of to me. But you know, watching it again a couple days ago, it's at least a 6.5 out of 10. I do enjoy it. It's a love letter. It's a love letter to the movies I grew up loving that kids today would never understand. So, but there is something about it that keeps it from going like elevated to the next level. I don't know what it is because it's solid. There's just something about it. But I love the whole meta angle. It's fun.
Next one I got this. So Scream Factory is having a sale. This is like $11, and I didn't own this on any Blu-ray or anything. So they get Cobra.
Yeah, I saw that was cheap too. That was cheap on Amazon even.
That's what I got on Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. I still didn't get it just because I owned the fucking basic bitch one like that came out, and I was kind of disappointed in Shout Factory because I don't really know if it's really that much better of a transfer, and they didn't. It literally looks identical just to the standard one they used to have out. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't look any different. And I'm just
they got
paranoid.
a bunch of new special features, but that's it, I think.
But I'm just paranoid that anything Stallone is going to get 4K. I'm just not even going to bother. I have a copy. I'm okay. I mean, so I'll wait just to really be grabbing for me.
The last thing I got, I've never seen this. I've been wanting to watch it, and I ended up watching it a few nights ago. That's Event Horizon.
Yeah, that was pretty cheap. I saw. How much was that again?
Yeah. I can't remember. It was cheap though.
Yeah,
it was the first time I seen it, and it was awesome, dude. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, you think
I've
it's
never
awesome?
seen it.
I think it's almost a good movie. It's almost a great movie. Where'd you buy it from, by the way?
Amazon.
Yeah, let me look that up because I was tempted, but is it still on sale?
I don't know. I'd have to look. But
let me see. What'd you get it for?
I don't know. It was like 18-17 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like $18.99, which is a good price.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was the transfer?
Because it looked really good to me. I mean, I never saw it on any other format because I never seen it before. So,
because that's Paramount, and I know Shout Factory put out the Blu-ray of that just like a year or two ago. So I was always wondering if they were going to come out with the 4K and if it'd be any different. But that's, you know, I don't know. Ever since, because wasn't it Paramount who put out the Escape from LA debacle? They just, in their quality control, just shit.
Well, I mean, I didn't have any issues with this transfer. I thought it looked good, but if they're putting out 4Ks, I doubt Scream Factory would have the rights to the 4K. Yeah. If they just put it out. But that's
so I was tempted to get it because it's weird. Like there's always been a certain fascination with the movie, but I don't love it. And the thing is it's basically Hellraiser in space. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mess, but like what's there is fun.
I thought it was creepy, man. It's a creepy ass movie, I think.
It's uber 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the effects,
yep,
and even the cast. Like you have these character actors that are part of the crew that were just in a lot of shit in a couple of years in the 90s, right? It's got the guy from Something About Mary, the cripple, right? He was in a lot of shit from like 94 to 96. And
Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, I don't have an issue with him. I know some people don't.
I love Sam Neill. It's just it's almost a great movie. And I think there's like a whole story, right, about like a director's cut that everybody talks about would have been so much better. And I think people have begged Paul W.S. Anderson to release it, but he's like, it doesn't exist anymore. It's like, it's never going to happen. So, and I've always had a soft spot for Paul W.S. Anderson, the original Paul Anderson, by the way. Paul Anderson, the other Paul Anderson came out, you know, and he was forced to like add initials to his name because there was confusion. But basically, you know, Paul W.S. Anderson, He directed Mortal Kombat. He's known for directing most of those Resident Evil movies. You know, he's like the go-to guy for, to me, he's the Hollywood Uwe Boll,
Yeah.
right? He
Mhm.
doesn't get any credit like Uwe Boll because it's like, oh, they make video game adaptations. But Uwe Boll makes the direct-to-video shit, and then
Mhm.
Paul W.S. Anderson, he makes the theatrical shit that people go pay money to see. So, but they're essentially both doing the same thing, just trying to make popcorn movies. Just one of them does it at a higher level than the other, and people shit on them for it, and I don't understand why. Because if you listen to an interview with Paul W.S. Anderson, he's a super likable guy, and it's kind of hard to knock on him when you hear him talk. He's like, dude, I just love to make people happy.
Mhm.
His aim is to make movies that people see. He just wants to make people see. He likes making entertainment. He's not one of these like Citizen Kane snobby nose guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, if that's his angle and he's getting a bigger paycheck than we will ever get doing these movies, and it makes him happy, I mean, he's winning at life. So people can shit on him all they want.
They're entertaining as hell, man. I mean, and that sometimes that's all you want, you know, you don't wanna have to
Well, he
everything doesn't
also,
have to have some sort of meeting or social meeting behind
I don't
everything.
like the Resident Evil movies, don't get me wrong, but I still like him, and I love Mortal Kombat. Like I said, Event Horizon, I always wanna like it more the next time I see it, so I'm tempted to get it so I can rewatch it. And
I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was
wow.
one yeah, I thought it was one of the best, horror/sci-fi films of the '90s.
Wow, it's like a 6 out of 10 for me, but I gotta watch it again. Like, to me, it's just it's flawed. It's like I know what they're going for, what they have is cool, I like it, but, you know, it's got its problems, but I appreciate the movie, and he also did Death Race, the Jason Statham, that remake of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
loose remake of Death Race 2000. I
Mhm.
love that movie, and that movie is
Yeah, it
so
was
fucking
solid.
stupid. It's a giant, like it feels like a video game movie, even though it wasn't based on a video game. It's so stupid. Feels like I'm watching Twisted Metal. But I like that movie a lot. So anyway, yeah, I might pick it up. What else did you get?
That was it.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I don't have. Let me see what I got. Um, I think I just got a few records. Okay, first up to bat, I got the new In Flames record. If anybody's familiar with In Flames, kind of a controversial band, pretty popular in their little genre. They started out as the pioneers of the whole mellow, Swedish mellow death scene, and they got really commercialized. Right? I don't want to be one of these guys that's like, oh, I stopped listening after this album, but I am that guy. Like everybody says, oh God, they were great with um Clayman. I almost said Human Clay. Creed.
Ooh.
Clayman and Horacle, like, and then after that, they just they changed. And after that, especially in the early 2000s, they started chasing like the fucking metal mallcore shit. They almost kind of started, they were trying to blend in with all these mallcore bands, but they were like a Swedish melodic death metal band. So all that stuff was not for me. But the new album, it's kind of going back to basics, and it's like it's really good. And I had to listen to it before I jumped on it because I don't own anything of later era In Flames, and I don't care to. But I saw them support Meshuggah recently, and they played a few of these new songs live, and I'm like, shit, that shit fucked. That was good. So really digging that. Glad to see that they're back. And then completing my, well, working towards completing my Anthrax collection. I got Worship Music.
Oh, that's a good album.
Yeah, it's a great album. And then this one came back. I'm really stoked that they're starting to repress these remasters and stuff. I got this one. This one was out of print, dude. You couldn't find this on CD. This is The Greater of Two Evils.
Oh, okay.
And basically, it's a collection of Joey Belladonna songs sang, re-recorded and sang with John Bush. And it's kind of an obscure release because they put it out when they were in between labels. They didn't have any main label support, and it's right before Joey Belladonna came back the first time. So the record kind of came out and disappeared, and it didn't get supported because they ditched their singer when it came out. But so pretty much it was hard to find even on CD like right away, and even Spotify doesn't even have it on Spotify. So the fact that it's now on vinyl again, I'm excited for that. And I already have Sound of White Noise, which is one of my favorites as far as the John Bush era, and I have We've Come for You All. and then I have coming on the way. It's just super delayed. Stomp 442, and so all I need now is 8, and I'll have the Bush era complete. And Volume 8 is going to be very hard to get because that's still out of print. And that was one of those ones too, because Anthrax, they had a rough go in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they couldn't keep a record deal. They'd get like some indie label would put out one album, then the label would go belly up. And so, like, for example, Volume 8 is on, I don't know if it's Spitfire. It was some label, and it only put out that record. And because they went belly up, the fucking rights to it are like in limbo, and so it's never gotten re-released again. So we'll see if I get that. But that's all I got. But I love me some 90s Anthrax. I love John Bush. I like all the soundtrack shit they did. Pretty sure Anthrax is on the Last Action Hero soundtrack with John
Yeah,
Bush.
I think so.
Yeah, and then I love that soundtrack. And they did the Airhead song. There's a song on the Airhead soundtrack with John Bush. I really love 90s Anthrax. But anyway, let's see. I heard there's a water shortage in Arizona coming. Be careful, Aaron. Thanks, Blocko. I don't know anything about it, man. I don't watch the news that much.
Well, I think it'll be all right, Aaron. You've seen Waterworld, right?
Unfortunately.
Remember where he distills his own urine, or he filters his own urine and drinks it? So you'll be fine. I mean,
I'm gonna eat my own shit like Jello pudding. Jello pudding. Like you want like Todd come over, like Todd wants the corn flavored pudding. You want the corn flavored pudding?
I see. I didn't know that Alice in Chains had 2 songs on the Last Action Hero soundtrack. I thought it was just one.
What's that? No, I love the
Alice in Chains has 2 songs on the soundtrack.
Yeah, they a little bitter, a little. So, What the Hell Am I is the lead single. A Little Bitter was another track, which we mostly know because it was on the live record, right? That live version, which was a great tune. And AC/DC had they had Big Guns, right? And I believe that was on the Ballbreaker album, if I'm not correct. I don't remember if that was an exclusive or if it was also on Ballbreaker, or maybe it was recorded during the Ballbreaker sessions and it was exclusive to Last Action Hero. But the song is featured a lot in the movie. But I love it. It opens up with the
Big Gun, and then What the Hell Have I? Then they have Angry Again.
Yeah, I think it's
Queensryche's after that.
Yeah, and I love how it's all featured heavily in the movie too. And I don't gosh, I think it's Angry Again that opens the movie, because you're watching the Jack Slater movie first, right? You've seen like the opening and it's all that stuff. It's cool, man. Like I said, it's got everything I want in a movie, but for some reason it's missing something that makes it hard for me to give it higher than a 7 at best, but it's me like a 6.5.
That'd be cool to have the vinyl soundtrack of that, though.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Is there anything that you've been watching or anything coming out you're looking forward to see before we get into the meat of the topic?
I've been kind of on a heater watching movies lately. I did watch Alien 4K. I think I talked to you about it. It looked awesome, man. Oh my gosh, I was blown away. So very, very surprised and happy with that. Let's see what else have I been
and I just love movies like Alien, how they look, where they're set in the distant future, but they have like 1970s tech all on the ships. It's so fucking weird.
70s tech, but there's no like CGI. I mean, it doesn't look fake. I mean,
none of it does. But I'm saying, like, like they have like the green screen interfaces, and just the keyboards are out of the 70s. They're like, I love it. It's like,
I love that stuff, man.
I know, where it's completely weird and not realistic looking. It's bizarre. It's almost like steampunk shit, where they're taking the past and infusing it with the future. Obviously it's just kind of what they could do back then, but looking at it through the lens of like 2023, it's fucking bizarre, and I love watching it. Like, we're in the deep future. We're supposed to be like 500-600 however many years in the future, but they're fucking rocking like whatever.
I rewatched Wayne's World for like the millionth time over the weekend, and
I watched the 4K of it when I got it a month ago.
Oh, did you get? I never got that. But I had one of my boys was watching with me, and he was doing the the Garth thrust or whatever, when he's doing Foxy Lady or whatever. So he's like walking around the living room doing that too. It's funny, dude.
What do you want, dweeb?
Yeah.
I'd like to give Biden now. And Todd sent us a message. He's like, I had no idea. I was 2 years old when I found out Meatloaf was in this movie.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't think Meatloaf was that tall, dude, compared to them.
They suck. Party on. I love them.
Yeah.
Dude, like they're going into the gas works. Yeah, that's very obviously you consider the year it came out. That's Bat 2 era Meatloaf. And the only, if he hadn't had this resurrection in his career with Bat Out of Hell 2, he wouldn't have had that cameo. So I love that timepiece. I love everything about 1991, 92. You know what? I take it back. Wayne's World. Did Wayne's World come out before? When did Wayne's World come out?
91, I think.
Shit, maybe Bat 2, because Bat 2 came out in what, 93? Oh, yeah. I guess. Yeah. Oh, I guess I'm wrong. So that he owes Wayne's World to his success. Maybe that. But anywho, I don't know what I've been watching. We've been watching MasterChef Junior. So, we're going in like haven't been in a mode of watching movies with the lady. Been trying to get them in where I can by myself. Yeah, man, the last thing I watched was that Pamela Anderson documentary. So I've been in a bit of a drought for a few weeks. And that was all right. It was interesting. Definitely cool to humanize her, but also, she's trying to sell a book right now too, and she's calling a bunch of people out, and just you seem like you're in book selling mode. Jesus, it's really kind of cringe.
She can get away with it. She's still smoking.
She's attractive still. Blocko, kudos to Dana Carvey for being in the editing room for Wayne's World. Was he? I don't know much about it, because Mike Myers, I guess, is a bit of an egomaniac, right? Didn't he hate Penelope Spheeris and him, and they were butting heads? And I think he's kind of a he's a bit of a headstrong personality. So, but anyway, let's go ahead, and without further ado, we're going to talk about our main topic, and that is Salute Your Shorts, which is interesting. I got to warn Todd, I came prepared. I've got my top 5 episodes. I really did some things.
I got 4 because I couldn't find a 5th one.
Okay, well, maybe one of mine will end up being his, but it blows me away that not counting the pilot, there's 26 real episodes. So the show only ran for 2 seasons, which is a shame. And from what I read, it was consistently one of the highest rated cable TV shows, but yet it wasn't renewed. And I don't know what the reason was for that. I don't know if the kids were getting too old and they didn't want to like recast. I don't know what it was, but for the time that the flame was burning, it was burning bright. And it was kind of tricky coming out with 5, because the show was consistently good for 26 episodes. So we'll just kind of start. I'm going to work my way. These are kind of in order. My number 1 is my number 1. I'd say my number 2 is my number 2. And then I'd say 5 through 3 are kind of interchangeable. So since you have 4, I will start. That way we end on me and we can go back and forth without, skipping.
Okay, because I mean, Paramount only had 10 episodes, right?
So it's so funny. Todd's the one, by the way, that was like, "Oh, they're on Paramount." Like, "Oh, great, we'll do that." And then I messaged him last night. He's like, "Oh yeah, I started watching them." I messaged him last night, like, "Dude, there's only fucking 10 episodes. There's 5 episodes." He's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" I'm like, "I don't know. You tell me. You should have known this." He said you've already started watching them. Like, oh,
I watched like 4 episodes, and then
they're like out of sync.
Yeah.
and just whatever. But I mean, I know it pretty well. I have like DVD copies of them. I watched them not that long ago, so I rewatched a couple that are on. I actually rewatched almost everyone on Paramount Plus between the last couple of days, and it really sucks. There's some crucial ones that are not on there, and it's I would say a good portion of my list was not on that is not on Paramount Plus, so it's kind of a shame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, so I'm gonna have to go off of Paramount Plus then.
Oh my, your top 5 of 10, dude. Come on.
Well, I don't know. Well, we can talk about the other ones, see if I remember it. But these are the ones I watched. I watched them all. But
Okay, we're gonna find out Todd's top 5 of the 10 he's seen. And one of those 10 is arguably like the worst episode, which is the basketball episode, the basketball team.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one of the
Yeah.
fucking just flop. So let's see if that made his top 5 of 10.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
All right, so I guess I'll start and we'll just kind of do our best to talk about it. And I'm gonna start with Capture the Flag. I've always loved Capture the Flag, and this is a season 2 episode. And I'll kind of talk about season 2 versus 1 at the end, and we'll see. I'll declare a winner.
I
We'll
will
tally
too.
up the votes, and and I'll declare a winner once it's all said and done. But Capture the Flag is great. I got here. It's a fun parody of war movies, like old World War II movies, John Wayne movies, just all kinds of war movies. I love when Ugg is like obsessed with strategy, and he's playing with the fucking army men toys, and he's watching the footage, and then all of a
Oh,
sudden I
yeah.
love when it turns into like the old World War II John Wayne movie, and he's all like, this Capture the Flag game is getting out of hand, like Black and White dropping bombs, like he's so stupid. And this is one of many episodes where Donkey Lips is trying to overcome some sort of personal challenge. This is like a recurring theme in with Donkey Lips in the series, but in this one he wants to be an attacker, right? Because they're Capture the Flag, they're playing each other with these balloons, and he wants to be an attacker, but he has to be able to pass the physical challenge. And I love it. He's scared of the tires. I'm the tires.
Oh yes, I do remember
Yeah.
this episode. Okay.
And then my favorite homage is they have a nod to Platoon, right? Where Bobby Budnick, he doesn't want to listen to anything anybody has to say. I think Donkey Lips is the one who's trying to talk reason into him, but he, tries to go out all guns blazing, and he runs out into the field, and it's like it starts slowing down, and all of a sudden the balloons are hitting him from every angle, and it's playing the dramatic music. He's getting hit, and he dies like Willem Dafoe, dude. It's so funny the way it was shot. And the editing show is funny. Like, you probably noticed it in the episodes you watched on Paramount, but they always do that triple edit repeat thing.
Oh yeah.
They do it all the fucking time. And sometimes it's a little gratuitous, but a lot of times it's really funny. And but yeah, I love the angles. Like they do it like a lot of weird angle choices depending on what they're trying to lampoon. But that's
zoom ins and
the zoom in like Dutch angles up on their face and stuff. We'll get more into that though, because that's definitely in other episodes on my list. But that was my number 5, Capture the Flag. How well, you don't remember it that well?
I do remember watching it, yes, but I don't remember like every part of it.
Yes, that's okay. So what's your first one?
My first one would be
roasted, toasted, and burnt to a crisp.
It'd probably be Cheeseburgers in Paradise.
That's on there. Yeah, that's on the Paramount Plus.
Yeah, so that's the one where Donkey Lips and Sponge are doing the wrestling. And then Donkey Lips, they wanted to do it basically because they get a free lobster out of the deal. And Donkey Lips has his own shell cracker, I'm guessing.
And once again, this is another episode where Donkey Lips is trying to overcome a personal obstacle.
That's why I brought
weight.
This one up. Yeah,
he's trying to lose weight. And yeah, he gets rewarded with like the lobster dinner. Yeah, the wrestling thing. Yeah, that's a classic episode too. It didn't make my list, but it's most of the shows on this. Most of every episode is good. So it's like I have to make cuts. But no, that's a good one. If who knows? Maybe it's a spoiler, but I don't think it's on Paramount Plus, so it's not going to be on your list. But if I was going to go for an episode, I think I don't know why they're nothing alike, but they involve food and kind of like, I guess I compare them because they both involve kind of sneaking offside of the camp. Like they go offside of the camp to go to that burger place, and they're trying to dance around Ugg. It reminds me of another episode, the movie theater episode, right? Where they sneak off site and they go to the theater, and Ugg is there, and your phone number. All it's a similar type of a thing for me. I would have picked that one. It's not on my list either, but that's a good one too. Okay, so my next one, like I said, 5 through 3 is not necessarily in a particular order. Season 2, episode 1, Goodbye Michael, Hello Pinsky.
Yeah,
I have to say overall Pinsky is better than Michael. I'm
absolutely 100%.
And this is a great episode. It's a great season 2 start off because they wrote off Michael as having chicken pox. Oh, Michael's not gonna be at camp this summer because he's got the pox, as if like they're the only like 6 kids in this entire camp, because they really treat it like they're the only kids at camp, right?
Yeah.
But he's replaced by Pinsky, and Pinsky comes in and he's an awesome character, much better than Michael, just because he provides some friction for Budnick. He comes in and he's not like a Michael where he's kind of a prankster himself.
Yeah.
He's an alpha male, and Budnick feels like his toes are getting stepped on because everybody likes Pinsky, and Pinsky is like wittier than Budnick. He's one-upping Budnick. He's not letting Budnick dunk on him, or he's not taking his shit. So he's a great character. He's like charming them all up all night on the piano, and like Ugg isn't giving a shit because he's fucking giving him the Pinsky salami. All this stuff. He's charming everybody, man. I just absolutely love Pinsky. I think so. And I legitimately think the actor that plays Pinsky, obviously he had a bit part in Boy Meets World, a recurring role, but he's actually a good actor. He's way more charismatic and just a better actor than Michael. I'm not dogging Michael. He looks like a young Jason Newsted. I always thought he did. I always thought Michael looked like Jason Newsted with blonde hair, dude. Like his
Pinsky's just Pinsky's so more likable, and he's fun to watch. Michael is like he's not very good.
Pinsky's charismatic. He's very charismatic. But like I said, he's that good like friction for Budnick. It's great.
He's humorous too. I mean, he has a lot of physical humor too. Seems like when he acts, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so I love Pinsky for the win. So what's your next one? That's a season 2 episode, obviously. So we got 2 season 2s for me so far.
Okay, so let's go back to back Pinsky, and I'll go Citizen Pinsky.
Okay, because that's on the Paramount Plus. But yes. I would say Citizen Pinsky's an honorable mention for me because it's
a fun one. Yeah,
it's a great episode. It's a great episode. Obviously, like Capture the Flag and a lot of the episodes, it's lampooning movies. It's lampooning Citizen Kane, and then it's lampooning the entire media industry. It's done really well. It's really clever. Yeah,
really funny. It. Yeah, I mean, they come up with a newspaper, and then Pinsky goes a little haywire and starts writing articles about everybody. And the names of the articles are just hysterical. You know, they're like, I'm the smelliest kid in camp, and just like random stupid shit.
That's
it's funny, dude. Yeah, it's great headlines. It's just kind of funny. And everybody hates Pinsky by the end.
What was it? The captain of the wrestling team wets his pants, or I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But that also has, if you notice, that has Zach from Son-in-Law, or that great Hambino. You know, the great Hambino.
I was gonna bring that up. Yep.
Yeah, he shows up twice in that episode. He's got that line. He gets shoved, and you see him twice in the episode. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a great episode. It's really well written and it's well played, and it shows a little heart, right? He learns his lesson.
Takes the article out for Dina.
She thinks she's dating some guy named Philippe from France, and she gets a letter, and she lies to say that, oh, he's clingy and I dumped him, but she's really embarrassed because he dumped her, and he didn't even just dump her. He pretty much put her in her place. Like, look, we aren't dating. You're a fucking psycho hose beast. Like, why are you writing me? And it's so funny because, and it's funny how like we have that scene where she's reading his letter aloud to herself, like for us, the audience, like, oh, I'm glad she read this for us, so we know the context.
Yeah.
But anyway, Pinsky digs the trash. He finds it in the trash, and he's going to run the story. And, it's a good lesson, right? What does he say at the end? Well, you laughed at everybody else. Yeah, but now it's affecting me. And he does the right thing. But Pinsky makes a lot of good points, though. He's like, well, you threw it away. It's public domain. It was in the trash. We found it. You should have burned that shit,
Exactly.
And what I love it. I love the whole scene where, he's starting to get corrupt. The power is getting to his head, even down to like Pinsky and Sponge. Like, my name's supposed to go first. Oh, I've been talking about this. I love when he's like, what do we do? There's no more news to talk about. It's all dry. We have to go out and make our own news. It's just...
exactly.
I
so
love
true
it.
To this day too.
Yeah, it's a great episode. And then so my number 3, and after this one, it's gonna be the top 2, or I'd say are in good order. Number 3 is Dina Loves Donkey Lips. This is season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Dina Loves Donkey Lips. It's one of those episodes with a little bit of heart to it. So basically, Dina has a crush on Michael, as if Michael's the only boy at camp. They act like it sometimes. And so she goes to leave him like a little love note. And in the arts and crafts area where they're doing shit, she finds what she thinks is Michael's painting, and she leaves the secret admirer love note. Turns out it's Donkey Lips' art. So Donkey Lips gets it, and he thinks Dina's in love with him, and he becomes like her secret admirer. And Donkey Lips keeps leaving her gifts and presents and shit throughout the episode, but leaving it almost like a secret admirer type of thing. So Ina naturally thinks those gifts are from Michael. And so it just, you know where it's going. It gets all the way to the end. And then when she realizes who she's been flirting with and whatever and playing around with is Donkey Lips, she's faced with a bit of a dilemma. Like, oh God, I either tell this freak of nature what I think of him, or I choose not to hurt his feelings and I go to the dance with them. And that's what she does, right? She's like begrudgingly going to the dance with him at first. Budnick's like giving Donkey Lips a makeover, putting him in a nice sweater. She's like moosing his hair. He's like,
Oh yeah,
he's
I
got,
remember that.
he got
Yeah.
tons of mousse, dude. Looks like a frilly porcupine on his head. He's like, I can't help you. Your head's lopsided. They're talking about his head's lopsided. And but anyway, they go to the dance and they have a bit of a heart to heart. And you know, she starts to see him for his inner beauty. And you know, they have a nice. They don't obviously get together, but she's a little bit more human about everything. So it's a good episode. It's very memorable too. So I always think about that one. So what's your next one?
Okay, one that I watched and one that I kind of maybe vaguely remember that I think I liked when I was a kid. I'll just mix them into one. So the first one, did you remember the episode? Is that ZZ Saves the Planet? Is that where she like goes crazy on everybody?
I just vomited up stomach acid and went through my nose, dude.
Gross.
Fucking and it's in my nose. It's burning. Go ahead. Yeah, ZZ Saves the Planet. You got it. I remember that episode.
That's freaking disgusting. Go to the bathroom, dude. And blow
snot rockets in my hands to get the shit out of my nose. Oh, fucking gross. Oh, ew! I just put it in my eye. Okay, no, I got a napkin right here. I promise. Oh, dude. Anyway, yeah, ZZ Saves the Planet. Yeah, she's the hippie chick with the braces. Continue.
That's one I want. That's one I didn't get to watch, but I did love it as a kid. But the one I did get to watch, that I hate the little girl in it, but it's still entertaining.
Oh, Dr. Khan's niece,
Dr. Khan Jr. Yeah,
or
The Wrath of Dr. It's his niece.
Yeah, his niece.
The Wrath of Khan Jr. is the name of the episode.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny. So yeah, Dr. Khan's niece comes to camp or whatever, and then
and she's a bad seed, right? Take care of her, and she ends up like fucking just being a little terror.
Yeah, and Ugg doesn't want to get in trouble with Dr. Khan, so he like tries to cover up for all the shit that she does to the rest of the campers, and it's pretty funny. I mean, it's Problem Child, you know, rip off. It's good.
Yeah, he put the fucking problem on the campers, man, so he could lay out in the sun and work on his tan and get a raise. You know. Yeah, that's a fun one too. Like I said, to me, that falls under the solid category. So the last two, I want to talk about a little bit more in depth, right? And this is a bit of a controversial number two, probably because most people would put it as number one. But it's Ghost Story, the one with
that's
Zeke
my number one. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk in depth about this. Yeah. I didn't put it as number one because it's just too easy, and also, you know, I got to be honest with myself. It deserves to be high up because it's the one all 90s kids remember. I'd say most people, if they only remember one episode, it's Zeke the plumber, and it stuck with people, you know. And obviously, this is their take on Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, it starts off with Budnick telling ghost stories, and he starts telling this story about Zeke the plumber, this like custodian dude that worked at the camp. Which, by the way, is a lot like slashers, right? Always involving like the burning or something, involving somebody working at a camp and dying and, you know, wreaking havoc. And he's digging. He hits like a gas line. He can't smell the gas because his nose was bitten off by like a fucking bird in the Philippines. It's quite an animated story. And so because he can't smell the gas, he lights a match and he goes up in flames. And he's wearing a mask, which, you know what, I never caught when I was a kid. I never really understood that he was wearing a mask.
That looks so ridiculous, dude.
I thought it was supposed to be like the face, and they just had shitty effects because he had the bloody nose. I'm like, well, that's supposed to be his face. But no,
Yeah.
it's a mask with a bloody nose. I don't know. I get it. He doesn't have a nose, but it's the blood coming through the rubber. I don't get it.
Yeah, when you're a kid though, I mean, and the quality is so shitty back then. It's like you can't barely tell. It's like, is that his real face or is that a mask?
But Budnick says it's a mask. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that till I was older. But anyway, but which is also just another nod to slasher movies where they wear a fucking mask and shit. Anyway, so he tells them the story and they all get scared and creeped out and go back. And it's got a classic little Budnick like ism where they're all like leaving to go to bed because they don't want to hear his shit. And he's like, sweet dreams.
Yeah.
And it has like that transition into the next scene. Sweet dreams.
It's so ridiculous. That's what makes it so good, though. I mean, that's probably the most rewatchable episode, I think.
Hey, Blocko says never watched Salute Your Shorts, but I'm here to chat. Man, I mean, you're missing out. I mean, how old are you? I mean, it was definitely a '90s kid thing. I don't really know how old you are, but it's just nostalgia fuel, man. We love it, and everybody talks about. Well, if you Google Salute Your Shorts, I bet you're gonna get pictures of Zeke the plumber, and you go to all these like pop culture websites that sell T-shirts and shit like that. I wouldn't say it's like mainstream. Like you're not going to find Zeke the plumber T-shirt at Hot Topic, but it's just a step below that, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, so he gives them all the heebie-jeebies, and they creep him out. And Dina is the only one that doesn't get phased because she like is putting toothpaste around her bed, like some fucking voodoo shit. She's like, oh, there's like fluoride in the toothpaste and it'll keep the ghosts away. And so she sleeps great. But everybody the next morning was kept up all night because they're having dreams of Zeke the plumber. And you start off with Telly, I think. And it really is Freddy light because it's like these dreams aren't that bad.
Oh yeah.
But Telly has a dream where she's at like a dance and they're reusing the gymnasium where they have the dance in the show, and she's all dolled up like girly, which she hates. And Zeke the plumber's there. He's like, "Here's a ball, there's a ball, and we can dance." And he's dancing with his plunger.
Yeah.
And it's obviously Kirk Bailey playing.
Yeah,
Zeke the plumber.
Yeah.
But I love it. I gotta get out of the stream. I gotta get, and it's just Zeke the plumber dancing with his plunger with a disco
It's
ball.
ridiculous. Yeah.
It's like that's your hell. That's great. He's not shoving that plunger up your ass or anything. But consider yourself lucky. And then we have Michael, where Michael wakes up to the sound of plunging, dude. And Zeke the plumber's plunging a toilet, just randomly sticking in the floor of their bunk. And he's like, "I'm Zeke the plumber." And he's like, "Oh, you're the guy." And I love it. He goes, he pulls out Harry the Hippo out of the toilet.
Oh yeah.
And that's the most memorable scene is the Harry the Hippo. And he goes like, "Hey, look, you're not gonna tell anybody. That'd be like really embarrassing." "Oh, I'm not gonna tell anybody." Or he's like, "Well, I mean, like, or I suck my thumb or whatever." "Oh no." He's like, and he pulls out a megaphone. "Listen up, everyone. Michael has a stuffed animal and sucks his thumb. You baby." "You baby." No, like don't tell. Like he's gonna tell everybody. Like that's his hell. And I love it. It's such a homage to Nightmare on Elm Street. Because even like the next day when they, Telly's like she got no sleep and she's barely keeping herself awake. And then they end up talking. Hold on. Yeah. Sean Boyle's like, they're all coming back to me. This is cool to listen to, fellas. Yeah. Well, you can watch about 10 episodes on Paramount. Anyway, I love it. They're like talking, and it's a straight out of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie where it's like, "Hey man, I had this dream about the Zeke the plumber guy. You did too? Yeah, man. How are we gonna stop him?" Like, and they have that whole scene where it's like, he seems to see. Michael gets super serious when they come up with a plan to stop him. He's like, "He seems to know our deepest, darkest fears. Yeah, but how do we stop him?" Like it's something out of a Freddy movie, right?
It's a total ripoff, but that's what makes it so great.
Well, they even say that they call him like not a dime store Freddy Krueger, but they say something about Freddy Krueger. They make a mention of it, and it's really funny. It's just a great episode. Anyway, I don't want to do all the talking. If you want to like talk about it some more, because there's actually more to the episode, right? Because they want to get Budnick back, because Budnick's the one that's planting these seeds in their brain. So
they send him out in the woods, and basically they want to scare Budnick as well. And then they end up capturing Zeke. So.
Oh, he just summed it up in 2 fucking seconds. I'm gonna talk it. I'll break it down better than that. Okay. Hey, Blocko, I'm from Canada, so Breaker High was huge. Breaker High. I don't know what that is, man. Hey, but these
It's
were
like
well,
Degrassi. or something.
a lot of the shit. Well, like Are You Afraid of the Dark was Canadian. A lot of those
Oh
those
yeah,
old
that's true.
Nickelodeon shows were all Canadian, right? You
That's
can't do that
true.
on television and all that stuff. Top 10 Beavis and Butthead vignettes. I would do that. Which, by the way, side note, if you guys haven't watched that new season of Beavis and Butthead that they put out on Paramount Plus, like the revival,
It's funny, dude.
fucking funny as hell. I actually think it's better than the old show.
I do too. I see everybody was shitting on it too, and I really enjoyed it.
Like the new one, the brand
Yeah.
new one, not the one that came out like 10 years ago when they revived it the first time.
This came out like a year or two ago, right?
No, the new one this year.
Did I see that
So
one? Like
look,
2023?
Beavis and Butthead. No, 2022 came
Yeah,
out.
I saw that. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Recently.
Really. Yeah,
2023 just started, Todd. Like recently though, but
yeah.
those
It's where they go to
episodes,
space, right?
the movie sucks. Not the movie. I fucking hate that.
I like the movie, dude.
No, I don't think the movie's good, but the series that launched with the movie is great.
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, the series. It's on Paramount Plus, and to me, the episodes are funny, and they bump it up into modern times by instead of watching music videos, they watch like TikToks and YouTubers, and to me, it works. Like I was dying laughing. Like they were watching this they were watching ASMR YouTuber, and dude, the fucking Beavis and Butthead were cracking me up, dude. Like making fun of the ASMR YouTuber. But it's really, really funny. But that's total side note. Anyway, this episode, yeah. So they all want to get back at Budnick because Budnick has once again wreaked havoc on their lives. So they challenge him. They're like, oh, well, you know, if you're such a tough shot, spend a night in the woods, you know, whatever. And he's like, oh, what's in it for me? Oh, it's like, well, I'll give you we'll give you our boom boxes or whatever. They always fucking wager their boom boxes.
Yeah.
It's funny. He's like, okay. So he goes out there and he's smart, right? He knows like, oh, they're up to something. So he asked Donkulus for a bunch of rations and shit, like a bunch of food. And it's not really for to eat or whatever. He's using it to set traps. So as soon as they leave, he's like becomes Rambo all of a sudden.
Yep.
He like lays out all the chips. I like when he gets mad at Donkey Lips. Hey, you know, what are I asked for Ruffles, you idiot. Like, what's the difference? Ruffles. But you kind of find out that why he would have wanted Ruffles because they make more noise. But he uses the potato chips he has, he lays them on the ground so we can hear people coming. He sets all kinds of traps. Anyway, he gets the better of everybody. Everybody's trying to scare him. They're not having it. He turns the tables around on them. And then Ugg wants in on the fun too. And he's like, well, I got something else. I got my own plan for him. And he basically ends up dressing like Zeke the plumber. They put Donkey Lips in a random like they put Donkey Lips in a jack-o'-lantern mask that has no eye holes, dude.
Yeah.
And for some reason he puts it on right away. Like his part of the plan is like, okay, you're gonna come out and scare him at the end. Like, yeah, fucking at the end, it's still daylight out. Why is he putting it on now? And he like wanders out. Like, if you can't see, whatever, just wait till it's time to pounce. But anyway, he puts it on and he's like wandering around, bumping into walls for the next fucking 5-6 hours. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, and then so Budnick has gotten the better of everybody, and then finally we think that they finally got him, and Zeke the plumber shows up. And Budnick is giving an Oscar-worthy performance, acting all scared. And he's like, I can smell your fear. And then he backs him up against a tree, and he's like, oh, I walked you into a trap. He's like, huh? He's in like one of those like what do you call those traps where the rope grabs you and
Oh, I don't know.
they hang you upside down. He's like, oh, you know how I knew you're fucking full of shit? That's exactly what he said. You said you can smell like fear, and everyone knows, and Zeke the plumber has no nose. Let's see who you really are to that mask. And of course, it's Ugg, dude. And for a second there, he actually seems like he's sympathetic. Like, oh, I'll get help. Just hold tight, because you know that could kill you, man. Even as a kid, I'm like, is he gonna die eventually? Like, you can't hang upside down for that long, dude, before the blood rushes to your head.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. No, I would think so too.
And then he makes like a death threat. He's like, "You better hurry." He's like, he says he like threatens his life. It's funny.
Yeah,
he never
threatens the kids.
he never comes back. Basically, he ends up running into the woods, and I don't think they ever really specify, but they didn't plant those spider webs. Like, this happens to run into spider webs because there's foreshadowing at the very first scene when he's reading the story. There's a spider on like a paper, and he's like, "Oh, I hate spiders." That's it.
Yeah.
And so he's running, he's getting caught in the webs. And I don't understand why he turns into a chicken, because he gets out of the webs and now he's out in the middle of the open again. Then he's like, "Help me, anybody help me." I'm like, dude, you're gone. You got away from the spiders. Why are you acting like a bitch? And he's like, I need friends. Well, I don't have any friends. He starts like crying. Like, he's totally not Budnick anymore. I'm like, dude, do like any man would. Take your shirt off and run away. I've done that, dude. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Be a freaking man, Budnick.
Anyway, so they all like overhear him and they catch him, and they kind of got him. Anyway, happily ever after. Anyway, the next morning, fucking Ugg is still hanging from the tree. Somehow he's not dead, or he's not hemorrhaged out. And then he sees like Donkey Lips wandering at him, and he screams, dude. Ah! because they even say when they're like telling Donkey Lips his role, he's like, and then you come out of nowhere wearing this, and he'll scream like a baby. And it's just the fact that Ugg does it. So stupid, dude.
You know what? I'm surprised they never made a movie off of Zeke the Plumber, or had the character for an actual movie. I thought it'd be kind of cool.
I'm surprised. Well, I think there's people that have made fan films, like horror movies starring Zeke the Plumber, but you know, you got to consider who owns it, man. This is like a Viacom property.
No, I know, but
but anyway,
so pumping out straight to video shit all the time.
So that was your number one. Did you have one before that? Did you have a number two, or did we already do your number two?
No, we already did. I had 4 on my list. So.
Okay, so I will go off of. I'll start with my number one. Budnick and Dina in Love, Part 1 and 2. I have to put up Part 1 and 2 together, and I'd say it's actually a real shame that on Paramount Plus they just have Part 1. They don't even have Part 2.
Yeah.
It's like they could have at least paid attention to putting a 2-parter in there in half, because I wanted to watch Part 2 after Part 1 because I love it. But anyway, this to me is actually better than Zeke the Plumber. Not as iconic, but once again, this is a season 2 episode. Zeke the Plumber, Ghost Story of season 1, and in the first part of it, the one that is on Paramount Plus, if anybody wants to watch it, it's great because we get to see a dramatic new take on Budnick. He's sensitive. He gets his heart broken by Dina when she's embarrassed, when he sings that song or he raps that song. You remember that? You my primo choice. He's like doing this fucking like early 90s cringe rap. He busts into like the lunch hall.
Yes.
And it's so funny because he's like, oh, all of a sudden there's no build up to it. All of a sudden, like Dina walks in, he's just like struck in love, as if, don't you see Dina all the time? But all of a sudden he's in love, and Pinsky's there, and Pinsky's giving him advice, and he's like, "Oh, do what you do best, write her a song." And they show him like with a guitar, and he was in that band Bad for Good, like he's a rocker. Like, okay, he's got a guitar, but then he comes out rapping, dude. He's like rap. It's just the most cringiest rap. It's awesome, and it embarrasses her, humiliates her in front of everybody, and he like throws a pie in his face. They always have a pie handy in the show. And
I always end up quoting that scene. But Dina, sometimes you gotta be mean to be kind.
Yeah.
Pinsky did.
This is a great because there's a love triangle. There's a lot of depth to this story, because it's kind of like the Donkey Lips thing with Dee Dee, but ZZ thinks that Budnick is in love with her, because the rumor mill goes around like, oh, rumor has it that Budnick likes somebody in your bunk, and there's only 3 people in their damn bunk: Telly, Dee Dee, and ZZ. And then, of course, Dee Dee's like, oh, gross, I hope it's not me. And then they pretty much deduce it. Hey, ZZ, it's you. Yeah, he's like, he has a crush on you, and she actually likes it.
Yeah,
it's like, you're the only one that doesn't hate him. And he's like, well, I like to try and see the best in everybody. And she becomes really wrapped up around this because she wants to be asked to social. And so, she starts spying on him. They show him and Pinsky writing the song for Dina, and she's like spying, right? And she doesn't hear the word Dina, so she thinks he's writing a song for her, and she's getting emotionally attached to this whole thing. And then I love it when he comes in rapping, dude. It's great. The doors like open up, and he's doing this like really cringe rap, like MC Hammer style rap, slow flow. And then he walks up to Dee Dee, who's like dressed all nice, like her like a church dress, and he's looking at her. Then he moves her out of the way, and then he walks to Dina. It's so funny. You can see her heart break, dude. And then of course, Dina throws a pie in his face because she's embarrassed. And then he's like, "What'd I do wrong?" And then ZZ's like, "Everything." And then she's all upset, dude. it's just I love the depth of it. And then he goes to ZZ, and like I said, Budnick's actually being a human being in this episode. He goes to ZZ and he's asking like, "Hey, I was kind of wanting to talk to Dina. Do you mind if I wait here?" And he's like, "Well," and she's kind of upset with him, like, "You can't sit there. You can't sit there." And he apologized, like, "Hey, I wanted to say I'm sorry. I'm real sorry about that." Like he's showing like more heart than anybody's ever shown on the show. And then they have a heart to heart, and she's like, she forgives him, and she's like, "You should find Dina and tell her everything you just told me. She might actually say yes." And then she asks him like, if would you ever want to go to the would you ever dream of liking me? As if Budnick's like some sex god now. And then Budnick's like, and this whole scene, they're playing like this New Kids on the Block music in the background. It's so cheesy, dude. So 90s. And he's like, if I didn't have a thing for Dina, of course, I think you're great. And she's like, and then and she's like, great. And he thinks I'm great. And she like cries, like, because she's like always the bridesmaid, never the bride type of thing. But all of a sudden, like, and when she says, oh, the cringiest line she gives him, it's so great. He goes, go to Dina. And if she breaks your heart, remember, I'll always be here to pick up the pieces. And like, what? Like, you just learned you had a crush on you 5 minutes ago, but now you'll always be here to pick up the pieces. Anyway, so he goes to find he commissions Donkulus and fucking Sponge, who, by the way, I like everything about this season because everybody's a little bit more friendlier. Like, even like Sponge and Donkulus are like friends. They're both trying to get merit badges. And even like Budnick, now that Pinsky's entered the scene to kind of like balance out the alpha energy, Budnick's kind of a lot nicer to everybody in general. In the first season, Budnick and Donkulus were like the bully and the goon, right? They weren't friends with Sponge. They were So I kind of like how everybody acts in season 2. But so he commissions Budnick and Donkulus and Sponge to use their native guides or something, whatever they're in, like their tracking skills, because they're trying to get like a badge to track down Dina, as if this camp is so fucking huge she can't be found. It's so funny. And anyway, they find the footprints that lead to the lake. They're deducing that she committed suicide, which is hilarious. He's like, you guys idiots, she's out on the fucking lake and she was just in a canoe after being embarrassed. And then they leave. He has a heart-to-heart with her, and he gets real with her, and he's just asking. He apologizes, and he says, you know what, which, by the way, this is not how it works in real life. He's like, I just decided that I'm gonna back off, and I'm gonna let you decide if you like me or not. Like, he's trying to like be smooth, and he walks away. Like, dude, like, it doesn't matter if a girl didn't like you. This is not how it works. All this is moving so fast. But he walks away.
Yeah, I watch Family Matters. I know how it works.
And she goes, wait a second. Wait, you really mean that? It's like, yeah. What was that? Well, how did that song go you wrote about me? And he starts like reciting the fucking cringiest parts. Something about you're my primo choice. It's just really bad. And she's like, do you want to, I have some extra sandwiches on this canoe. Do you want to come on board and have some? And why would she make extra sandwiches if she was going to mope? I don't know. But anyway, she at first Zizi's like spying on him, and she's like, yes, she rejected him. Like, she's gonna fucking pick up those sloppy Budnick seconds. But then she sees him getting on the canoe, being lovey, and her heart's broken again. And that's basically where the episode ends. And I fucking hate it because I wanted to watch part 2. But in part 2, they're more of an item. And, like, he's giving her like fucking his favorite earring. And he's giving her his guitar pick that he got from Steve Vai, Whitesnake. Yeah. And then they're starting to like get used to being a couple, embrace it, but they're starting to realize they're actually very different, right? And I love it. There's a great flashback in part 2 where she imagines what it's like to grow old with Budnick. And, because she wants to be exciting, and she's already imagining him being like a homebody. And she's like, let's go see Guns N' Roses. It's like 2050. And he's like, that's a better idea. Let's go prune the roses. Like, what? As if Guns, and it's so funny because I know Guns N' Roses is reunited. Yeah, Guns N' Roses is reunited in the last like 7 years.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I always thought that flashback was so funny because it's like Guns N' Roses dissolved like the year after this episode aired. It's like Guns N' Roses are still gonna be around in fucking 2050. Anyway, like you can expect, it all kind of comes to a head. They kind of realize they're not right for each other. They have a nice heart to heart, and they break up amicably, right? And that's kind of where it ends. I love that episode because everybody's got so many layers to it, and everybody gets to act. Even Dina gets to really act. Budnick gets to really. It's so cringe, dude. Like, I wish. Hold on. I recorded some of the videos off part 1 on my phone, dude. Did you watch it? Did you watch
part 1? Yeah, I've seen part 1. Yeah,
I've seen both. Recently?
Yeah,
I love it, dude. You know what I'm talking about? These scenes where they're playing like the New Kids on the Block music, and he's like, the way he's talking, like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like he's Jordan Knight or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You don't know what I'm talking about. Okay.
No, yeah. He's talking. He's talking like the new kids. Yeah, absolutely. He's
Hey,
trying to
baby,
change his
I didn't mean
image.
to hurt you.
He was trying to change his image for Dina, right?
I mean, I don't know. I just think you really love Dina. Mendoza's asking a very valid question. Is there an episode about the fat kid's micro penis? No, but it is funny you bring that up because I don't remember which episode it is. It might be Citizen Pinsky. I don't remember which episode it is, but there's it's in season 2. I know because Budnick and Sponge are close. They're friends because they become friendly in season 2. And they're filming for something. I don't remember what it is. And they're standing next to her. Oh, you know what? It actually might be Budnick in love with Dina, because Budnick's like he's in love with Dina, and they were helping him track down Dina so he can go and talk to her. So when they leave him alone to go talk to Dina, they're like in a field, Budnick and Donkey Lips, and then they blow each other. No, I'm just kidding. But they're in the field and they ask each other. Donkey Lips goes, "Do you think the girls are ever gonna like us?" And Sponge is like, "Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, in a few years, none of this is gonna matter, and we're gonna be slaying the trim." He says something like that, and then Budnick's like, "Yeah, I can't wait." And I'm like, it's so fun because I want to reach in that TV and be like, dude, it's not. I want to be like, dude, it is not going to get better for you. I wish I could have shown his future. You are on like Facebook Live talking about your micro penis, wanting to slit your throat because you're just depressed all the time. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if I wonder when he's like watching his nightly episodes of Slit Your Shorts, like I'm sure he does every night. When he comes across that episode every other week in the rotation, if his heart hurts when he sees that, like, they never came around. The ladies never came around.
That's horrible, dude.
I know, it's terrible. It's cringe to see Michael
Poor
Bauer
Donkey
talk
Lips,
to
dude.
lady. Dude, it's so funny, dude. Michael Bauer is like, you know how it's kind of like ass backwards. You know how there's simps online, right? Like you have like an e-girl or a celebrity chick or whatever,
Yeah.
and you have all the simps like commenting as if they could really fucking get it or whatever, like thirst trap. For Donkey Lips, Michael Bauer, it's backwards because he uses his platform to simp on like his fans that are females. It's so cringe because like they'll be like, oh my, he'll always post something that's like a poor me. It's kind of fishing for sympathy and comments, and then he'll say something, and then like some girls like from the 90s will be like, oh man, Michael, you got this, we love you, don't forget it. And he'll be like, love you too, BB girl, like XXOO. Like, it just, he's cringe, dude. Like, God. And he'll say like he'll try to be flirty in these fucking messages, like kind of shooting fish in a barrel here. I don't know.
That's funny. I just
I'm sorry.
What do you say?
I'm saying Sean Boyle says, well, I'm depressed forever now. What? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like punch down. Michael Bauer's just a funny guy. That's all I'm going to say. But
I found a funny photo of a Budnick or whatever where he has like a turtleneck on, or he has a sweater going over his arms and tied to him, and he's like giving Dina a flower. It's like,
yeah, that's epic. That's part 2.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's the thing. In part 2, when they're actually going to give it a go, and she comes around on Budnick, they find out they're not good for each other because he also feels like she's smothering him and trying to change him.
Yeah,
he's starting to dress like, I don't want to dress like this, and change me, whatever. And yeah, it's just one of those things. But it's a great episode. I wasn't trying to depress you, Sean. I'm sorry, man. But those are my number 1 episodes for sure. The old part 1 and part 2.
Well, we should
everybody
talk.
loves a love story.
Speaking of depressing, didn't Kirk Bailey die a few years ago?
Yeah, Ugly died, dude. He died just a couple years ago. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, he was great in that, man.
Yeah, the only other thing I know him from is that small part in House Guest, where he's the guy, the maitre d' working at the country club, right? Where they're playing speed golf.
Oh God, I love that part, dude. I was playing speed golf.
Yeah, speed golf. I'll drive.
The cringiest thing in that movie, which I love, in House Guest, is where they're having the party, and then weren't they in the living room like raising their hands or whatever? They're all going like this, like for like 10 seconds over and over again,
they
dude.
Speed up the camera. Like,
they speed it up. Yeah.
like dancing.
Like so cringe, dude. Oh,
I first of all, I love it, and second of all, if you guys haven't watched House Guest in a while, that movie has the most batshit. Somebody was on fucking acid
yes.
editing. The editing is insane in that movie. It's like super fast. Every the whole thing, it never lets up. It's like an acid trip, right? The way the cuts are, the responses, it's fucking weird. It's like everything's sped up. It's like you're watching it at two times speed. It's really odd. But yeah, I don't know what the deal was there. But hey, I have to say, has anyone noticed that how good my internet's been today? I now have my new internet. And it's been reliable. It's been
Well, you
Ford
just-
strong. And I have to say, I'm finally done with the Cox Mafia, right? I got a local fiber
at
company.
least somebody
and,
is.
dude, double the speeds for half the price. I'm still on cloud nine over it. Still on cloud nine over it. And you know, so I'm not gonna take it for granted. Yeah, it's been nice for this last couple episodes where Todd's the one shitting the bed and I'm not looking bad because it's like usually I'm the one bringing the ship down lately. But no, everything's been great. Knock on wood. That last episode took me about 5 times longer to edit because I had to fucking edit out. I had to chop it up in 5 different places. And then of course I had to like bleep out a bunch of stuff. I had to listen to it because I said a couple of off-color things I wanted to edit out. It's like, yeah, it's not very good. Anyway, yeah, no more Cox. No more Cox. You're done with Cox. Sean Boyle
This is
says
cool.
Budnick should have reunited with John Connor for a Korean R&B album. He should have recruited John Connor to be in Bad for Good, his band, right?
Yeah.
His band with Brooks Wackerman. Brooks Wackerman went on to play with like Bad Religion, and I think for like the last 10 years he's been in Avenged Sevenfold, but he's a great drummer. But yeah, he was in Bad for Good with Bobby Budnick. You know, Bobby Budnick, he went on to just sort of have a really good career in voice acting. So I mean, I think he's still active in voice acting. And I have to say, I love this show. And I know I like make jokes about Michael Bauer. I'm not really trying to, man. It's a tough love situation. Like, I really wish I could know him just so I could like grab him by the fat cheeks and be like, dude, you need to fucking pull yourself up by the bootstraps, man. Pull yourselves up by the cankles and fucking just get a grip. Because, and that's me making light again, but I've watched him and he's like a train wreck. It's like Ed TV or fucking Truman Show. I cannot watch this stuff he posts because he'll like always push for these like salute your short reunions. He'll always try and tag the cast member. Dude, the cast members don't really follow him. I've been nosy. I've looked. Like I think he follows Sponge, who Sponge was living in a van down by a river for like 20 years. Like he was off the grid too. He became like all weird and fried. So they're like, they follow each other. And but all these other people, they don't follow him. And I kind of get the feeling like they don't want, like Dina, like Todd was pointing out, and I knew this. She has a legal practice here in Arizona, in Phoenix area, in Glendale. She moved on. She doesn't act anymore. She has a law firm, right? And but I see this, and I remember when there was about 10-15 years ago, they actually did get a Salute Your Shorts kind of reunion at some kind of like,
Yeah, I think it was up in Portland or something, or
some kind of like
Oregon.
Nickelodeon
Yeah.
convention or something like that. And they actually got a bunch of the people out to come. And just and Michael Bauer was obviously the most enthusiastic out of everybody. He's like filming it for like the internet and stuff like that, all up in everybody's face. And you could just see everybody's like, dude, get the fuck out of my face. Like we don't like you. It just really, it was giving me that energy. And it kind of made me sad because it makes it almost feel like this time period has left such a imprint on his life in a good way, but like he still lives in that 2 years. Actually, the show aired for a year and 3 months. But for them, I mean, let's say you from the age of 12 to 13, how many of the people that you had in your life from the age of like 11 to 12 or 12 and 13 are still in your life? Right?
Yeah.
That,
Nobody.
and so like for them, that was just like a summer or two. They that they got to spend, and it wasn't even, they probably filmed over the course of like 6 weeks for 2 summers. So it's like they probably drifted apart and he never left it. And if you can watch this online, his little documentary about this gathering they did, it really kind of seems like they're all like, yeah. You're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll add you on Facebook when I get home, I promise. They kind of all give them that kind of attitude. That's the way it feels to me. Anyway, it's pretty sad. Sean Boyle, straight up, I don't care, just goofing, haha. Yeah, the dude needs a new lease on life. No, for sure, man. And like I said, I've said it before. I was watching him where he was going through like a little bit of a moment where he's like, I went to a doctor and I'm going to die. I say I have to eat healthy or, I'm going to have a fucking heart attack any day now. And so he's like, I'm committed to eating healthy, which is great. I would never make fun of him for that. I never made fun of him for that. What I did make fun of was threw in the towel after a week. And then he's like, well, I'm going to full on embrace dying and I'm going to make YouTube videos for clicks. And I'm going to like, here, fat guy eats the most disgusting fucking artery clogging shit ever and survives. And you watch him just eat all this fucking bullshit and slowly kill himself on camera. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's pathetic. It's a cry for help, but it's like, dude, come on, man. Like you almost had something. So anyway, I'm not going to harp on that anymore, man. But yeah, he's got a micro penis too, by the way. It's fucking terrible. I don't know. Do you have any final thoughts? You got to have the last word because I can't end on my depressive shit I was talking about.
No, I was just looking up more on Ugly, and I guess he did a bunch of voice acting as well.
Probably, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And he did that Night of the Animated Dead. I think that came out pretty recent, a couple of years or whatever, which is kind of cool. So no, that's sad that he passed away. But
I love all the threats he used to get away with on that show, Kirk Bailey. Like you mentioned it, Citizen Pinsky, where he like corners Pinsky in the woods with the bat, dude.
Yeah,
he's like, there was no cork in Telly's back. You need to make another story saying she won fair and square. He's like, or else the guy's like, no, you have to do it, or you were gonna have a date with Big Red here. Like you fucking answer, like you threatened to beat the shit out of a kid with a baseball bat.
Yes,
it's so funny, dude. And as a kid, I'm like, oh man, Ugg's top authority. But now as an adult, I'm like, Ugg's probably making like $3 an hour, working minimum wage, dude. As a camp counselor, dude, it's so funny. I love.
You can get away with it back then.
Yeah, let's see. Hey, Sean Boyle says, hey, I got nothing but fat kid love. I was 223 pounds at my heaviest in high school. You got to make changes is all. Yeah, man. Like I said, if he just like made an attempt, but he's clearly, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, but to me, as a normal dude, he looks like someone that's severely depressed, right? He just seems like somebody that's severely depressed, and he like does everything and anything to try and get attention to maybe relieve some of that self-loathing he has. It's just the way it comes to me. If you watch these micro penis videos, and if you see some of the like the weird baiting videos he does, and like I said, the weird like fishing posts he'll put out there and simping for attention from ladies, dude, that's
the majority of YouTube though these days anyway, though. So it's not
he just seems like he has issues to me. So hopefully he gets help, because if he's waiting around for them to like, I'm just waiting for him to post something like, hey, we're all these popular revivals, y'all, who all here wants to see Salute Your Shorts revival? Like, dude, you got to get off your cloud. Like, Salute Your Shorts is not big enough to be a revival of anything. It really wasn't. It's got a special place for 90s kids and stuff like in our hearts, but it wasn't Saved by the Bell that got a revival. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to move on. Anyway,
with Sean Boyle, I'd be happy if I was 223.
It depends. Well, Todd's very tall though. Todd's like 6'3", right?
No, I'm only like 6'1".
Are you really?
6'2", yeah.
Isn't your brother like 6'5"?
Yeah, he's 6'5".
God. Well, you still got height on you. I'm like 5'10", so it could be worse, but it could be a lot better. Could be a certain little smoky friend of ours. I could be that short. Sorry, yeah. that was bad too. Anyway, yeah, start jogging, drinking smoothies, yeah, all that good stuff. Well, thank you guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up there. I appreciate you guys joining us as we the last couple of weeks talked about Are You Afraid of the Dark, talking about Salute Your Shorts this week. Does anybody have any? Todd's a big bear, all right. He's a big old bear.
Hairy bear, that's right.
Fucking Mendoza, he's your kind of bear, dude.
Sorry, Mendoza, I'm married.
Yeah, yeah. That means he can't. That means that he just can't have more than one woman in his life. That doesn't mean that he can't.
I'm not really into that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just not really into
it. Dude, come on, man. Todd wants his coin purse filled. I guess the coin purse is the nutsack. I guess that really wasn't a very good. Anyway, that's all we got.
Next week's topic.
Yeah. Does anybody have any suggestions for next week's talk? Somebody suggested it might have been Plemke. He might have suggested Are You Afraid of the Dark, which kind of prompted us to do Salute Your Shorts. Does anybody else top 10 worst of the 90s? So we have that. Somebody said something earlier too that was a good idea. What was it? I can't remember. I'll have to find it. There was another good suggestion too, though. But yeah, top 10. Doug. I love Doug, dude. I mean, would you guys want to talk about Doug? I could harp on Doug all day. 4 seasons of fucking animated bliss.
Ugh.
Do you like Doug?
I did when I was in elementary school.
He's not really. He's not willing to watch it now.
No,
to bone up.
Dude, I'm not a huge cartoon guy anymore. I like South Park still, but that's about it.
And Todd just knows the Doy Dot the Dasket doll. That's it.
Yeah.
I love Doug. I think it's fantastic. The best Simpsons episodes. I don't think Todd's a huge Simpsons guy.
No, I've never been. I mean, I was back in the late 80s, but that was it.
Late 80s. The show started in 89 and went into
early 90s, whatever.
Todd's not
I used to watch it when I was a kid. I liked it. But...
Yeah, the first 8 seasons are flawless. It doesn't get much better than that. So we'll think about it. Top 10 Roccos. See, I would love to do all this, but I don't think Todd wants to. I would love to do Rocco. I miss you're right now you're preaching to me. Favorite TMNT episodes? None of this is everything, all of this is making Todd very soft below the belt right now. But I could talk all day about it. I wish I could. Your cheapskate. It's my cheapskate. See, Todd remembers certain things.
Why don't we do a tier list for Nickelodeon shows?
Okay, we can do that. Like what? Like Nicktoons?
90s Nickelodeon shows.
Okay, so it can be Nicktoons and live action.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll do a tier list.
Okay. So we'll do that, and that one will be a little tough because a lot of them I think are amazing. So let's treat it more like a ranking. We'll do a tier list though.
Yeah, we can do a tier list ranking.
All right, and then after that, I think we should Blocko saying top 10 80s horror. I think we should revisit a little bit of horror talk after that, because I think it'd be fun. I mean, it sounds pretty.
Unless you want to do top 10 80s horror next week and then do the other one.
I think it'd be fun to sort of like tier list rank slashers, right?
Okay, yeah,
that's a genre that's all over the fucking map, and I mean, or we could even narrow that down a little bit. It sounds like a lot of people have probably done it, but we could easily do Friday the 13th films tiered, So I don't know if Todd wants to broaden it and just do kind of like ranking the slasher franchises or slash movies, because that would be all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I have tons of them, but I mean,
have we ever done like the Freddy movies? Have we ever like ranked the tiers on those?
Oh, the Nightmare
we haven't.
Movies?
We'll do one of those. We'll do one of those. I kind of, because one of these days we can do something like 80s slasher as a whole. I want to do Jason. I want to do Freddy. I want to do all that stuff eventually. So we'll pick one and we'll do something like that. We'll see. We might do that next week and do the Nick. We'll see what we're feeling. But anyway, thank you guys so much. And if you guys are watching this after it's posted on YouTube every Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central Time, you can watch this live, interact with us. Otherwise, it's going to go up the following Tuesday. And if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, comment, help us out in the algos. Follow us on twitch.tv/Revival House. We're on Patreon. We're on Teespring. Check it out. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much. Friday rank would be Cash. But wait, hold on. Like the movie Fridays? There's only 3 Friday movies.
He's talking about Friday the 13th there, buddy.
Oh, Friday the 13th. Yeah, I already forgot what I was talking about. Like, that's a short tier list, man. We're going to have like S. We're going to have
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. We know how those are ordered. Some milk and cookies.
Yeah, anyway. We'll keep that in mind, Blocko. Absolutely.
No, yeah. So we're going to do one of those. But maybe we should start. Maybe all that'll come in the next month in some order.
We can do that. Yeah.
All right. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
See you.